The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. If you're a sensitive snowflake that may get easily offended, then turn this off immediately. If you want to hear the real truth about the gun culture, then stick around. This is the Armed Citizen Podcast.
What is going on, my Go Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast. This is episode number 224. We are live, as always, on YouTube and Facebook. If you're out there in the chat, please remember, we don't know that you're out there unless you say something. So please say something. If you're new to the show, new to the channel, tell us where you're from and all that good stuff. We hope to make you smarter. But honestly, we just hope not to make you any dumber. Can't guarantee anything. If you want to call in or text in, yes, you can call or text into the show. Utilize the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends Rod and Shelly Gates at Aegis Gun Care. That phone number is 530-364-4678. It's scrolling right down below. If you're a veteran, really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in that hole, you're trying to find your way out, you're questioning whether there's light, call me, text me, email me 24/7. I can't give you any medical advice, but I might be a pretty decent ear to help you get through some stuff. If you are looking for someone that can get you towards some medical attention, please remember two things. One, you are not alone in this fight. You have a lot of brothers and sisters out here that are willing to help. And two, the world is a much better place with you in it. So please, I implore you to utilize the Veteran Crisis Hotline. 1-800-273-8255. Once again, 1-800-273-8255, the Veteran Crisis Hotline, and veterans push the number 1. We are spotlighting, as always, the Marine Corps. So if you have any questions on what it takes to earn the title United States Marine, check out the website marines.com. And as always, we're proud members of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Check out selfdefenseradio.net. So let's get this off here. Before we get going, I do want to send a quick shout out to my homie G23 for the $150 super chat. He says, let's help the troops downrange and maybe you can get a box of 45 ACP. I appreciate that. As you guys know, we do not ask nor do we encourage super chats, but if you do, know that they all go towards helping send care packages overseas to our troops downrange. For you guys may know him, some of you don't, but those of you do that know, 45 ACP has been in the hospital for, a month and a half or so with COVID and things that are pertaining to COVID. His wife has been kind of keeping everybody up to date through Instagram, through Facebook, and through his community tab over on YouTube. And Matt's had, I just want to read this. Matt's had a pretty rough 24 hours. So bear with me real quick. Update. Matt crashed in the middle of the night. For those who don't speak medical jargon, his heart stopped beating. They had to perform CPR for 10 minutes before they got his heartbeat back. We do not know at this point what damage may have been done or the extent. We are not out of the woods yet. He is still requiring medication to keep his blood pressure up an acceptable level. They are cooling his body to 96.8 degrees for 24 hours, then will rewarm him to normal body temperature. This will help preserve brain function. I will update when I know more. Right now, all we can do is wait and pray. So let's keep Matt and his wife and his entire family in our thoughts. Yeah, I can do that for sure. Let me 45 Alpha Charlie Papa. Let me go and get his link.
Gizzard, got it.
Thanks, Gary. Appreciate you. I'm going to put it out here anyways. Yeah, go and check out his channel. More importantly, his wife is doing pretty regular updates through his community tab and all of that. So, yeah, let's just make sure that you're keeping Matt in your thoughts, because he was doing good there for a little while. And then, like I said, this thing can happen real quickly. And things can go sideways before you even know it. So, yeah, anyways, I don't want to start on a down note, but that's a friend of ours. I want to keep everybody informed, especially the guys that are aware of him, watch his stuff. You may not realize what's going on, but yeah. So let's say hello to our crew tonight from the great state of Montana, where they film. I don't know, they film parts of it. I know that it's based on my favorite TV show right now, Yellowstone. What's up, Rogue? How you doing, buddy?
Doing great. So they do actually film that in Montana. However, it is amazing how you can get across this big state in about an hour in that show.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it is filmed down in the Bitterroot Valley. However, it's supposed to take place about 4 hours away in Bozeman.
Yeah. It was funny. I was reading that the house, that's the Dutton house, the big, beautiful cabin house. Apparently, that's actually like one of the Indian chief's house, like legit chief's house. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's funny. That show is a lot more realistic than Big Sky. The funny thing is about Big Sky is Big Sky hasn't figured out our license plates. The first digit of a Montana license plate tells you where you're from in the state, and
like county or something.
The county. So Big Sky is supposed to take place in Helena, which is Lewis Clark County, and we are number 5. And I've seen 4 different numbers for people in that show. But anyways, a little sideshow of Montana and in the wonderful world of Hollywood. But yeah, it's great being back. It's been a while, and I'm really looking forward to kind of getting back into the groove of things again. Thanks for having me on.
You got a quick shout out to my homie out there, Lance off the X is out there. Want to say hi to him. He's a new granddaddy from this weekend. Baby Ren's had some issues, but I talked to Kagan earlier today, and things looks like they're going better for Ren. So I think she was 3 weeks or a month premature, but things to be going good. So congratulations to Off the X being he's already been a granddaddy, but a new granddaddy again. So congratulations on that. Hope Ren's doing well. Hope Phoebe and Kagan are doing great as well. Riding shotgun with us as always is the man from he's kind of like a munchkin sized man, but nevertheless a man. But he is from the great state of Texas, the leprechaun himself. What's up, Clover?
You could say I'm your sidekick.
I could, but riding shotgun to me, because we always tie in the shotgun of the week, which is
let's go Lefebvre Nitro Special, old school double barrel, man.
Holy hell, you brought that out from the darkness, didn't you?
Why not?
Why not? All right. Tell people what that is. These little, you say over under?
Side by side. Old school side by side.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've got one with 2 sets of barrels. I've got a set of 28-inch barrels, and then I've got a set of 18.5-inch barrels for it. It actually came with a set of 18.5-inch, which is pretty cool. Makes it look like a little coach gun,
Right.
But I wanted the original longer barrels that weren't chopped off, and ended up finding a set on eBay of all places years ago, and picked those up. So it can pull double duty, man. We can ride shotgun with it, and then when we need to jump out and take down some pheasant or something to cook a campfire, we're good to go. Put the long barrels on and go.
John Jay says riding sidecar. There you go. Riding sidecar. I've never ridden a sidecar, but I imagine that wouldn't be too comfortable. But I guess neither riding shotgun on a stagecoach probably isn't as comfortable as you would think either. So, it's all good. So I want to say thanks to everybody out there that are YouTube channel members and our patrons. Appreciate you guys, especially this time of year, getting ready to head to SHOT. There's always something that we're having to check with microphones and battery chargers and backpacks or shoes or pants or whatever the case may be. This is when we start kind of looking at all our gear, making sure we're ready to go. And every year it seems like, oh crap, I got to go buy another microphone. I got to buy another battery charger or some cables or whatever. And so I want to say thanks, because my Patreon people and my channel members, man, that helps knowing we've got that to fall back on to go and get some of that stuff that we need. So especially this time of year when the next few months are for me to be pretty busy. Got SHOT Show coming up. I'm looking to be going to the Gathering in March, should schedules align. I know, Clover, you've got some stuff coming up in March or February and April, whatever. Rogue, aside from, I know this is going to be your first SHOT Show, but aside from that, do you have any other events that you've got kind of earmarked for this year?
Well, up until November of last year, yes, but no. Since a certain event in November, no, I am planning on SHOT, and that is going to burn all my money. And I'm going to go into SHOT, as I like to say, college roommate poor.
There you go. That's why you do it.
Could be a lot worse, man. Could be a lot worse.
It could be. I'm not complaining, but SHOT, I was hoping to get the Wanamaker this year, and I don't know, man. Maybe in the fall.
Maybe November. Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, maybe.
I know you're busy right now, and but maybe hopefully in the fall we'll look at you. Clove, I know SHOT obviously is coming up in a week and a half or so. You might be leaving about a week from tomorrow, possibly, or a week from Thursday or whenever. But aside from SHOT, do you and Wanamaker? We know Wanamaker is going to happen at least once, if not twice this year for us. But what other events kind of do you have looking forward to 2022?
Got Shooting Sports Showcase potentially. Got the Gathering.
And that's the one at Talladega, right? Talladega.
Yeah. Well, and I say potentially. So let me back up. So Shooting Sports Showcase. I mean, I'm assuming any of that happens, right? You got Shooting Sports Showcase. NRA. I mean, gosh, I wish they would pull that off. And I'm talking about the show. I could go in the trade show part of it, right? Yeah. So that would be nice to have something that size in Houston. Fairly close, right?
It'd be nice not to have it on Labor Day weekend, so some people could go.
This is true. And then USCCA, as far as we know, is booked into a deal in Fort Worth. So while I wasn't terribly impressed with USCCA, just from the standpoint of my channel and what we typically do, heck, it being in Fort Worth, I'll probably go. That's on the table. So the only one potentially looking to add to the mix will be maybe the Gathering, and we talked about why logistically.
Logistically, it makes sense for you.
Yeah.
It could make sense for you.
Maybe if that's basically extending a trip, and so extending a trip is much different than having to put the bill and make a whole new trip. So.
Yeah, because I'll be going out there probably that Wednesday, flying into Charlotte, driving down with some friends and all of that. And there's a media day for just media that Thursday, and then the actual range show is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I don't know if I'm going to be there all 3 days of that. I might fly back Sunday morning or something like that. It just depends on when I can get a flight and all of that stuff. But yeah, you're going to be in Talladega that Monday and Tuesday, and it's only I think we looked at it about 4.5 hours from Talladega to where the range is. So,
right,
I'm putting pressure on you to do it, but no, it's just one of those that's it is what it is. Mandatory Carry, thank you, brother. $2 super chat, appreciate you. Says keep fighting, always, always, always. Pancake Boy out there says the outdoor show in Harrisburg is February 5th through 13th. This is one of those things we talked about. Wanamaker, if you've never been to Wanamaker, being on the bucket list because it's the largest gun show in the world and it happens twice a year every year. But for me, the outdoor show is kind of a bucket list thing because it's not just a gun show or an event type thing, a convention or whatever industry event. But it goes on for like 2 weeks and or 10 days or whatever it is. It's a long show, and it's up in Pennsylvania. And one of the reasons why is I'd love to maybe go to Chef Boyardee's restaurant and eat me some canned spaghetti and SpaghettiOs, which would be great. Maybe some ravioli. But yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about the outdoor shows. It's just not, like I said, it's not just firearms, it's everything really outdoor. And they have some really awesome stuff from everything that I've gathered. That might be something, I don't know if I'm gonna get to it this year, but that would be wonderful. I think for me, a bucket list thing. Do you guys have any, you ever thought about going up there to Pennsylvania for that one?
I stood in a booth at it once.
Oh, did you really? Okay.
Is it
as big as they say?
Well, back, I can't tell you about now. I mean, it's been a long time, but yeah, it was big. I mean, I grew up in Philly, and I'm used to, gun shows that are like three levels, and that thing could rival that thing. It was an awesome event though. I enjoyed it because there was boats and backpacking and camping, and it was just everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't be bored at it.
Yeah. Midnight says the outdoor show is huge. It's segregated by camping, fishing, shooting, and motorsports. So yeah, that's something that I would love to go to one day. Clover, you ever thought about going up there?
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it, but it's just, I need to dive more into it. And Midnight Range TM would know that, of course, and some other folks, I'm sure, but it'd be interesting to know how much of the, shooting, sports, maybe / hunting, and then how much the rest is other stuff, because I could care less about the other stuff. So if it was, vast majority was other stuff, yeah, that makes it low on the totem pole, right? It doesn't mean that I would not go, but
yeah,
when you're dealing with a budget, that's what a lot of people, they say, why don't you go to this show? Why don't you go to that show? And it's because it costs money.
Because that shit costs money. Yeah.
So, watch more videos. I'm not telling you to super chat, to Patreon, to YouTube channel member, to send me money on PayPal or buy from the swag store. But for Christ's sake, watch more videos and share more videos, at least where we can get some of that sweet, sweet YouTube money to travel. Right.
Yeah, that was some next level shilling for your shit right there. That was nice.
Wasn't it? Everybody's stuff, not just mine.
That's right. Yeah. But focus on yours. Yeah.
Like Obama said, you got to spread that stuff around, man.
That's right. Yeah. I don't know if Travis, if you're at work or not, but if not, and you want to jump in, let me know and I'll drop you a link. So maybe you can talk about the outdoor show for a little bit. He does say, if you're only going to go for the guns and you can go to SHOT, then go to SHOT. Well, obviously SHOT's massive. It's one of the largest industry shows there are in the country. And it's focused on, and it's not just the guns. They've got the hunting and outdoor as well, but it is about the guns. So yeah, if you're going to SHOT, you can go to SHOT, regardless of where else you go.
And the thing is, every different show or place you go is different. The vibe is different.
Yeah.
What you can accomplish there and what you do there is a little bit different. And I say different because I'm not going to say bad, right? I mean, we go to Tulsa, and as far as industry goes, largest gun show in the world, it's a gun show. So there's very little by the way of industry, but it's a great time, and there are relationships and connections and everything else to be had, and networking and other things there. It does offer all kinds of opportunity.
Yeah, and Rob out there saying might be good for some content creators to mix things up and try something other than just the big shows. So, especially if you're up there in that northeastern, area, and you haven't been to a SHOT or haven't been to Wanamaker, you haven't been to maybe some larger events, that might be that definitely might be something to look into. So I think Midnight's going to fire up the old laptop. So when he gets ready to go, I'll send him that link and he can jump in and talk to us a little bit. But while we wait for that to happen, because I think he uses an old Hewlett Packard 1984. No, is it a compact? Man, it might be the old compact laptop. So it might take him about 30 minutes for
the lunchbox computer.
So yeah, like my dad had one. Like he got one of the very first when they first came out. And he brought it home. It was the old compact white one, and it's just this big ass heavy box that they called it a portable computer because you could plug it anywhere, but all it does is like the front of it was a keyboard and it came off, but it was
a little screen
laptop. And if you put that on your lap, you're going to be hurting. That thing was heavy. It was a little green screen. Yeah. But it was back then, man, that was like as high tech as it came. So I remember my dad brought it home, and I think I used it more than he did. He says, no, he's still using the old Commodore 64. So that's awesome. Lucy out there, appreciate you, Lucy. He said, yo, what's up? What's up, my home diggity? Sandy says that he and his bride may actually make it to Tulsa in April. That's great to hear. So while we're waiting on the the Commodore 64 to heat up and plug into the TV, because remember, at least mine was the Commodore. We had to actually plug into the back of the old TV, so it wasn't. It didn't have its own screen back when I had one. But, anyways, let's kind of talk about our polls. Every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday, we put out polls on our YouTube community tab at 10 a.m. every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday. We had some fun with them. I went ahead and scheduled for like the next 2 or 3 weeks because of everything's happening with shot and all of that stuff. I want to make sure that I had them scheduled. So I went and scheduled for the next 3 weeks today. There'll be some fun ones coming up. But the first one was last Thursday, and it's got 1.2 thousand votes. And this is, how do you typically celebrate New Year's? Your choices are go out with family and friends, have a party at your house, stay home and relax, or I'm asleep well before midnight. Rogue, how do you guys typically do New Year's at your casa?
Well, we purposely moved 2,000 miles away from our family. So it's definitely not with family. We don't have a whole lot of friends. No, we just kind of chill out.
Not a bad thing.
It's just one of those times where it's just me, my wife, and our dogs, and we just kind of sit down and just relax and enjoy, and just enjoy life. And usually I sit down with a new bottle of whiskey for New Year's Eve.
Yep. Not a bad thing. Clove, how do you guys typically, I know you were making food. You did some black eyed peas and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was New Year's Day though. We was it? Yeah, we bought the stuff New Year's Eve. Yeah, we made the stuff New Year's Day. So yeah, we were asleep.
Yeah.
Much as you can out in the county with all the firecrackers and things.
Yeah, we had some fireworks going off in our neighborhood at midnight, so it's all good. Not too long, maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds worth.
Not a big deal, but you get people that get those mortar shells, which are the funnest of all the fireworks by far. But
not if you're trying to be asleep. No,
those are loud, so you can hear those miles and miles away.
Yeah, we actually stayed up till midnight this year. I think last year we didn't make it to midnight. We did this year. SAR says he hasn't bought a new gun all year. Man, I tell you what,
I can't say that. Unfortunately.
Right. So leading that question with, like I said, 1.2 thousand votes. Thank you everyone that has fun with these. With 61% of the vote is stay home and relax. That's what we do. Pretty much that's what we do. So it is what it is. Our next poll, which was, I guess, Saturday, it has 843 votes. It says, what's your New Year's resolution for 2022? Your choices are start a new business, lose weight / get in shape, stop smoking, get married, or other. Clove, out of those, do you have any New Year's resolutions?
I'm not going to necessarily say lose weight. I have gained a little back, and so I need to get a little more serious about things.
Right.
We had the cough, and that threw a kink in it. And then we went to Tulsa, and then we, now SHOT Show's coming up. It's like, holy crap, I can't win for losing. It's like once you fall off that wagon, it's there's too many tasty things out there, so it's tough. Yeah. So maybe after SHOT, not New Year's, I'm not that naive to think I'm going to go into SHOT doing anything, but maybe after SHOT, maybe try to get a little more serious about paying attention to what I eat. Not going to say diet, but pay attention to what I eat.
Yeah. The mandatory carries out there says, in our defense, you didn't give us the option to stay home and get blackout drunk. That's true. That's true. So, Rogue, what about you? Any resolutions for 2022?
Well, since I'm already down 15 pounds going into New Year's, I'm going to keep on trying to keep on going that way.
Right.
It's oddly enough, I just did a podcast that released yesterday on the New Year's resolutions for gun owners. And for me, I'm going to get a little more active with my what I like to say, my ruling class or politicians, and make my voice heard a little bit more.
There you go. I like that. I got a video coming out, something along those lines this weekend. Stay tuned for that. Right now, leading 843 votes, 59% of them says lose weight, get in shape, which is not a surprise because if you ask anyone that owns a fitness center or a gym, they make all of their money the first 2 months of the year. People will buy that yearly membership and all that, and then they will never see them after February rolls around. But yeah, I think everyone goes into every New Year's, I want to lose weight and I want to get back in shape and all of that. And for the most part, a lot of people do. But, I think the average person starts out with the best of intentions. And after March or April, when it starts kind of getting warmer and all of that, it is what it is. It's just human nature. And the last one came out yesterday. It's got over 1,000 votes. Of the following, what is the most important for 2022? This is more for the gun community. First question, first option is buy guns on your bucket list. Ammo prices coming down. Get training. Become more involved in the gun community /2A community. Or start a YouTube channel. Rogue, of those options, what's the most important for you in 2022?
For me, would be get more involved.
Okay.
I want to get a little more involved in things. I mean, it's not that I'm not involved, but I no longer work for an organization that kind of says what my professional voice will be. So now I get to say what I want, when I want to, and how I want to.
There you go. I like it. Sarge says his resolution is to drop another 15, 20 pounds and to finish his studio. Defense Dad out there says his resolution is to get back serious about the channel. Been redoing the studio the last couple of days. Awesome. I think we all would like to, no matter how much effort we do put in, some of us put more than others, and a lot of them put a lot more than I do. But no matter how much effort and time you put into your channel, I think that everyone wants to do more. And if you do want to do more, it means you care about your channel and all of that stuff. So sure. Clove, what about you? As far as those options, what's the most important for 2022 for you?
Start another YouTube channel.
Yeah, you've only got 17 of them, so
yeah.
Let's go for 20. I want you to have 20 channels by the end of the year.
Yeah, one of them will stick eventually.
Eventually one of them will hit. Yep. Mandatory Carry says he's resolving to start his new business. Well, that's interesting. I'd like to hear what that's going to be. For sure. I haven't seen, I don't know. I mean, if you've seen Midnight Range out there saying that his Commodore's heated up and ready to go, if not, we'll start the conversation. As far as who's leading that poll, like I said, over 1,000 votes, 55% say ammo prices coming down is the most important for 2022. And I think that that's obviously, I think, a pretty logical choice. A lot of people did comment. I had a bunch of comments on this one that said they'd pick training if ammo costs and availability came down, which I understand that the ammo and training does go hand in hand because did you send me a link? No, I did not. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the chat because I can do that. It's in the chat there, homie. And sorry says his shot show still on. Absolutely. I will be leaving next Saturday.
Yeah, so I talked with a guy today that is now the quote unquote match director at, and I'd never met the guy before today, but he has become the match director at a range that's like a little over an hour from me and not terribly far away. And it's at a range I'm familiar with because back in the 4-H days, they used to hold a lot of competitions there. And anyway, he was telling me that he's the new match director and all of his schedule, and I need to come out and shoot some matches. And back this coming weekend, they've got their first steel challenge match, and I'm like, be interesting to see how all the match thing goes with the with the ammo situation right now. First question I ask is, do you have a rimfire division? I'm like, I don't know if I can do anything but rimfire right now for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those where for sure I found out that shooting 6.5 Creed in competition right now is not necessarily fun. One, you can't find it anywhere, and two, if you are, it's like $3 per round, and it's like, okay, these matches are anywhere from 80 to 100 rounds. You're looking at $250 to $300 to shoot a match. It's crazy. It's crazy. From PA, what's up, Pancake Boy?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. I'm having trouble with my headphones here. Give me 2 minutes. Let me try and reconnect them. I'll be right back.
You sound great to me, but you might not be able to hear us.
No, I can hear you. It's just that, everybody in the house can hear you, and they said they can't stand that. It's just,
I get that from my own wife, so it's all good. I get it. All right. We got AB coming in. Alaskan Ballistics. He's from Florida. So what's up, AB? How you doing, man? You're muted. He might not be with us.
Well, that internet in Alaska, what can you say?
You got to get the squirrels back in the treadmill, man. Got to get that internet going up there in Alaska. So,
can you hear me?
What's up, homie?
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Sorry,
you got the
cell phone.
You got the squirrels. You got the squirrels running on the treadmill right now.
Our squirrels are too small. We have those small little red squirrels. We have to use moose.
Oh, I don't know if a moose would fit on a treadmill, but that'd be kind of a funny picture to see.
I will try to get one for you, sir.
There you go. All right. I think Pancake Boy is back. So we want to bring him in real quick. And he's up in Harrisburg area up there. And I know he goes at least once every year. I don't know how many days he goes. I know he goes pretty much every year, but to the Great Outdoor Show. And I've never been there. Like I said, it's kind of one of those things where I'd like to go to that one day. But you want to kind of tell people a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's big. I mean, it's at the Farm Show Complex in Harrisburg. I only went one day last year because I was working so much at the old job. It was pretty nuts, so I didn't get a whole lot of time there. But I spent a couple hours one day, and I stayed in the shooting wing.
Yeah.
So basically, you can go in and you pay your fee or whatever. You go in, and then you could go, and they have it all segregated. If you've ever been in the Farm Show Complex, they can break it up into these huge rooms, exhibitions or whatever. And so they have one that's like archery. They'll have one that's fishing. They'll have one that's shooting. They'll have one that's, camping stuff. And there's just these huge rooms. They do a bunch of demos and expos. They set up like a huge fly fishing pond and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
It's pretty neat. If you have kids that are into fishing, it's pretty awesome. Because they can go and they can try out rods and reels and stuff like that in these big hog tanks. It's pretty cool. I stuck into the shooting sports because that's pretty much what I was there for. And it's like SHOT Show. It's just smaller. It's kind of like Poor Man SHOT Show, I guess. I've never been to SHOT, so if that's what you're going for, if you have the ability to go to SHOT Show, I would imagine you'd want to go to the SHOT Show. But if you live on the East Coast, if you're close to if you're close to PA within a couple hours, it's definitely worth the trip. A lot of the big names are there, Smith & Wesson and Ruger and FN. There's a bunch of smaller companies that come out too. There's a bunch of startup companies. That's where I met Greg from Cosent Arms. That's where I first met him. Really cool company. Does come, the 1911s. They're really doing well, which is awesome. It's pretty neat. I will say this: there is a little bit of burnout with the employees, because they usually do. And this is just from having talked to them, kind of in private, because I had a bunch of them come into the restaurant. Like a bunch of the Magpul guys came into my restaurant one year. I was talking to them, and they were like, "Yeah, it's rough. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of travel.
10 days right after shot,
Yeah.
so they're already exhausted from shot.
Yeah. So I would say this: like, don't be surprised if they're a little burned out if you do go. But yeah, they a lot of them are there for like 3 or 4
assholes.
days.
Then don't hold that against them on that show.
Yeah, I definitely understand it, and there's a truckload of people that come through that place. So, they're busy. They're busy dudes for sure.
Yeah. Now the question is what kind of food do they have there? I mean, that's a big thing. Like, we know at Wanamaker they have one of the best Philly cheesesteaks ever. What are kind of the food choices?
Yeah.
Not like your restaurant and all that, but like at the show.
Right. Yeah. It's funny because it's the building itself is all, it's all concrete inside. Yeah. So it's not like a lot of other places have carpeted rooms and all that kind of stuff. Like, this whole place is just a big concrete, building. So they literally they have a little snack shop in there, a snack stand in there. They do burgers and chicken fingers and that kind of garbage. Right. But they'll actually pull like food trucks right inside.
That's awesome.
It's kind of neat. So I know I took my son, when I took my son last year, we were walking around, and it's like, all the booths are set up, and that's kind of neat. And then on the one side, there's just a whole line of, 6 or 8 food trucks just sitting in there you could walk up to. So it's kind of fun.
Now, Sarge, from personal experience, he can verify that Jimmy John's will deliver to the front door at Wanamaker. Just saying.
There you go.
Just saying. But yeah, it's like I said, I've wanted to go. I've talked to you about it before. I've talked to Tony Simon, several of the people that go all the time. They say that it's something that the spectacle, it's not just the gun part, but the whole thing itself is something that's kind of pretty cool. So that's something I'd love to do one day. More importantly, I want to go and have some rigatoni with you somewhere at your restaurant.
Yeah, there you go. If you're into, especially if you're into more than just shooting, if you're into shooting, it's awesome, because it's, as far as the East Coast goes, it's the biggest show on the East Coast. But if you're an outdoors person and you like all the other stuff, it's a lot to take in. I mean, especially if you have kids or something with you, and they're into hunting and camping and riding dirt bikes and motorcycles and side by sides, I mean, all that's there. So
it's all there.
It's pretty awesome. It's a little overwhelming if you're not careful.
Yeah, Sarge says that you should invite us to your new place, and we're not going to go down that road for many reasons, but
well, they're redoing the Waffle House, so as soon as it's done, I'll let you guys know.
Well, I just want to know, are they keeping the old grease? That's all I care about. They can remodel everything, but as long as you keep the old grease and just keep it there, the oil. If you keep the old oil, I'm in. I'm good.
I've found that whenever you change the fryer, if you split it half old oil, half new oil, you're good to go. So there's it's like a family tree of oil. It's good.
Okay, all right. Well, that's where all the flavor is,
Yeah, it goes great back to my great grandpappy Waffle House chef.
So what's your best thing on the menu? Is it the canned ravioli or the canned SpaghettiOs? Which is the best big ticket item on your menu?
Well, it's whichever one is bulging the most. That's the one. That's the one you should go with. Yeah,
the one that's expired the longest ago.
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, it can be expired and still good, but you want to get that one that's really bulging
Really
back.
expired. Yeah.
Yeah, because that one could be newer, but that's the one that's got the tang to it.
It just
tangy.
wants out more. I guess AB, maybe his cell phone,
Right.
because he'll join us back in. Yeah, that's the one that wants out the most. So yeah, definitely.
What's out of the can and into you, baby.
That's right. For you guys who don't know, Travis does one of the best shows every week, Sunday night at 9:30-ish Central, the closer, and it's great. It's one of my, whether I'm on it or not, I'll jump in every now and then, but most of the time I laugh. I'll sit there. It drives my wife nuts because sometimes I'll go for 3 to 4 hours, and it'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm just laughing, and she's like, "Shut up, shut up." But guys, go check him out. Now, as far as your channel, I want to ask this about the outdoor show. Not saying like immediate pass necessarily, but do they allow people to go around, take pictures and videos and do interviews or no?
Yeah, I have a couple things from last year that I did. Well, like I said, I interviewed Greg with Cosent Arms. I talked to the guys at IWI. When I talked about did a little video on the Masada. I did a video on the Mossberg pistol at the time when it was pretty much brand new. I talked to Ruger a little bit. Yeah, so they're pretty cool about it. I will say,
do you have to get like a media pass, or anyone can just do that? Okay, cool.
No, it's open to the public, and they're not. I will say this: they're not necessarily expecting it like at SHOT Show. So when I walked up and whipped out a tripod and and stuck my phone out, I mean, a couple of guys were pretty surprised. Yeah, I did a couple of fun videos. It's a little loud, and it's a little bit harder than SHOT Show because they're not expecting to do interviews and stuff. So I would say, like, I know you guys have the opportunity at SHOT Show sometimes to find a nice little secluded spot, and they're used to that.
You can find a spot every now and then.
Yeah, they're not necessarily used to it here. So it's a little different, but you're going a little more guerrilla style. And you're dealing with a lot of people that you're dealing with most 99.9% of the people don't have a YouTube channel. They're not doing videos. They're just there to look around. So,
Doc out there says no one expects it when you walk them and whip out the tripod.
That's right.
Yeah. You can get arrested for that in some places, Rogue Clover, do you have any questions or anything about the outdoor show? Take that as a negative.
Not really. I mean, like I said, I was there a long time ago, and sometimes I just kind of miss East Coast gun shows because, trust me, Montana gun shows suck.
Oh yeah.
They're bad.
Arkansas shows typically do as well.
Yeah, I kind of miss going out to a decent gun show. But yeah. No, it's I enjoyed it there just because there was just so many things to look at. I mean, this is way before I was a content creator and I was young and had the attention span of a gnat. So
that's fair. Trav, you got a second? You got to get back to the fam.
No, I'm good. What's up?
Okay, I just want to kind of go and start. We're going to kind of go into the discussion about 2022. And I'll start out with you. And do you have any plans or as far as whether it's gun community, gun stuff, your channel, whatever, what are kind of some of your goals or plans for 2022?
Oh man, I don't know.
I know you're busy at work, so that doesn't help.
Yeah, we're going to be, I just now started working on entrees. So we're going to be within the next couple months, probably opening up for dinner, and that's going to give us breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So 5 or 6 days a week. So yeah, it's going to get a little bit nutty for me here in the next month or two.
Well, just starting a restaurant from scratch during all of the bullshit that's been going on the last year and a half has to be interesting in itself. But how's it going so far? So far, so good.
Yeah, it's going pretty well. The breakfast is slow. We're definitely, I don't think people were expecting us necessarily to have the kind of breakfast that we do. I think most people are just thinking that we're just like pastries and stuff like that. We are full service, and so I think everybody that's come in, we're seeing a lot of the same faces again, and we're building some business, but it's been a little bit slower than I thought. Lunch has been going really good. It's a weird time of the year.
It is, yeah.
But the menu's going really well. Everything's selling, which is good. We're getting a lot of good feedback. And so, yeah, I just started doing some pricing on some stuff and working on a small dinner menu. I'll tell you what, prices are pretty crazy, man. There's some stuff that just blows my mind. I'm getting pricing at jumbo lump crab meat at like $48 a pound.
And what is it normally?
$48 a pound. Well, when I was at my last job, and when I was still at my last job, about around Valentine's Day last year, about $28.
Oh wow, so it's almost double.
Yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, there's some stuff like that. I'm getting pricing when I'm
Is that because the crab decided not to get caught as much, so there's just not much out there anymore? Like they're getting smarter.
I don't know. I mean, everything's gonna go up. I mean, when you work in it's kind of like guns in a way. Food it's gonna go up. It's never gonna go back down. You know what I mean? So some of this stuff, not for the long run anyway. So it fluctuates, but there's a couple things: meats, protein, what we call center of the plate.
Yeah,
center of the plate stuff is pretty wild. So I've really been looking at some more economical cuts, some lesser cuts, some things that necessarily aren't super high end, but I'm going to try and work in a really fun and interesting way, and I think that can be super successful. I've been successful with that over the years.
There's different cuts of beef that, if done properly, that are a lot, I'm not going to say cheap cuts, but they're much less expensive cuts than the sirloin, the fillets, the ribeyes, and all of that. But if done properly, it can still be really, really good.
Yeah, for sure. And the tough part is there's a very fine line with some of those cuts though, and it's when people order them quote unquote overcooked. So sirloin's great, medium rare. If you've ever had a well done or a medium well sirloin, it sucks. It's dry, it's grainy, it's really weird. So when you get those lesser cuts, they're great. They can be really, really great. Flank steak's a good example. Very economical cut. And flavor-wise, I love flank. Flank is one of my favorite cuts. But you do it well done, and people are looking at you sideways like you don't know what the hell you're doing. So it's tough. It's a balancing act between, cost and quality, I guess,
Sure. Ro, going to bring you in real quick and ask, right now, are there projects or is there something that you kind of got planned to say, hey, in 2022, there are some projects for the channel that I want to get done? What are some of those that you might be thinking about doing?
As for projects, nothing really big. 2022 is kind of a little bit of I don't want to say retraction year for me. 2021, I did a video a week, and that was huge for me. I'm still going to do a video a week, but one of the things I noticed is some of the quality suffered a little bit. So now I'm trying to change things up to try to up the production value on what I'm doing. And I have, I'll just say I have a drone now. So nice. You're gonna start seeing some drone. Those who follow me on Instagram know I passed a test a few weeks ago that I had to go drive out of town for. So I actually have an FAA license to fly a drone commercially. So that way I don't get $100,000 fine for a monetized video on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at changing some things up a little bit on my range videos, and just trying to up the production value. Nothing special. I mean, we'll see what happens after shot with any of the contacts I make down there, and see if I can get some new products on the channel.
Right.
But
for me, the great thing about starting out with shitty content and continuing the shitty content production level on my channel is like when things go bad, they expect that, hey, it's just shitty content. I mean, he just doesn't do a good job. So that's the beautiful thing about having crappy content all the time, is if you actually happen to put together a pretty decent video, it's like, oh wow, but they're not surprised when it goes back to being shitty content. So there's always that. You can always work your way into shitty content can be a good thing because no one expects it from you.
It can. I mean, it's, and I don't think it was bad content. It's not at the production value that I want it to be. So I'm just kind of sitting back and looking at, the last year. What are my lessons learned from the last year? And then trying to change the channel, and hopefully I can start doing a little more of a breakout. I mean, the channel's growing. It's just not growing the way I want it to.
Well, we'll get there. Now, Trav, you said you got an AR pistol project that's over a year old. Maybe that'll get done. So how far have you gotten? Have you like bought the trigger and then you're going to build it around the trigger and you haven't got anywhere else? Or how far along in this project are you?
I've got a lower, I've got a red dot. I just need the upper. And yeah. Okay. I got a couple of things. I've got a 223 bolt action Howa that I need to put a scope on. Nice. I had a scope on it, but it died on me. So I took that or ripped that thing off of there.
Yeah.
So I got a couple things.
What are you looking to put on there?
I really like my Vortex Viper. I have a feeling that I'm going to probably either get something, in the Viper category. They have a bunch of different kinds, but I have a Vortex Viper on my 308. I'll probably end up putting something like that on it.
Yep. No, I hear you. Clove, what about you? As far as before we, go into much, but like projects, you have anything in the back of your mind? You're just like, this is a project that I want to do for a couple months or whatever. Is there anything like that that's sticking out in your mind for 2022?
Well, to address Rogue and the quality thing first. So, what my advice would be is to pay attention to the videos you've already done, of course. And as far as the production value and the quote unquote quality and all the flashiness and like everything that people want to assume is quality, if that makes you happy and that's something you want to do and you're doing it because you enjoy producing a video to that standard or whatever, then go for it. But understand that there's channels out there with massive amounts of subscribers and viewership and everything else that literally just turn on a camera and go, and there's no edits or anything else.
No, it's not just that. There's some videos that when I did, it was a little out of focus. I shot a video a few weeks ago that I'm going to have to reshoot half of it because I knocked the tripod and I didn't know I knocked the tripod. So I'm working where I can see what I'm doing better. That's what I'm talking about. There's some things that I'm just not happy with. As for flashiness and stuff like that, that has its place, but not in all my videos.
Well, you hit the nail on the head when you said that you're not happy with. So that should be the standard, right?
Exactly.
That should be the standard first. No, for me, I mean, I've got one thing that I've been for the last few months, and you know this. I mean, I've sold 20, 25 guns probably in the last couple of months. Right. I have come to a point, and I never thought I'd be this way. I've come to a point that I'm thinning the herd. Now that doesn't mean I'm not gonna, buy things in 2022 or whatever. But definitely, I've made the decision that I'm going to thin the herd a little bit. So that's more of a personal thing. But will that affect the channel because there's less things with the lawn chair pop and whatever? Possibly. So I'm going to have to come up with another thing, another way to facilitate that. As far as the channel, there's a couple of things. I mean, I'm happy with 2 videos a week, and I can see sticking with that schedule because it's just I work with so many companies and have so many other things I want to do, right? Mm-hmm. That any less than that, how do you fit all that in? I mean, I've got a backlog now and the whiteboard's filled up and everything else. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Unfortunately.
So, I don't want to do 4 videos a week. I certainly don't want to do a video every day or anything like that. because I do have
I
all
did
types
that
of,
for a month last year. That is not worth the hassle. Just saying.
yeah, I
It's not
have,
worth it.
I have other irons in the fire. I have, talked about it earlier jokingly, but I mean, I do have other channels that I'm working on as little projects, side projects, and I do have at least somewhat of a life. Um, I've gotten really into, this, really into shooting pool lately. So, I mean, I've
Mhm.
been looking at custom pool cues and some other things with that. And so, got a lot of things up in the air. Yes, so certainly don't want to add to the schedule. I think 2 videos a week plus the occasional podcast interview and stuff like that, which I did put a poll out for folks, and that was up there. People said they want to see more of that. So, that kind of depends on them. They're going to have to hassle some of these companies if they want to see them on a podcast, because me asking sometimes is not enough. The company wants to know that there's a demand for that, right? Which is
Well,
silly that they would
Sarge is
even
asking which channel you're referring to. You've got a dozen of them. So
right, exactly.
I would
So
like to see you shooting a pool video with one of your ARs. If I could request that, please. Thank you.
ooh.
that could be kind of neat. You're gonna see some bowling stuff probably in the near future. But yeah, I mean that was one of the thoughts was the journey with pool. One of the things with that is where I shoot pool. Obviously, the jukebox is going. I don't know how to deal with that. That's going to be I'm either going to have to completely voice it over, which is going to be a pain in the neck. Um, and the lighting is not good in most pool halls. It's not, and I don't have my own
Just
pool
to
table.
say,
So.
what pool hall have you ever been to? The lighting was good and there was no
Yeah,
roof.
right.
So,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, I don't know how to facilitate that. But anyway, Sarge got me off track there with all the extra channels. Um, but yeah, I've been back and forth with quite a few creators. I mean, I just dropped a creator I'd never heard of. Shared a Diamondback Sidekick video with theirs on the community tab. I try to do that pretty regularly and encourage people to do the same. Just do a random YouTube search, find a video similar to something that you post, and put that in your community tab and say, "Hey, check out this one." Um, and so, I've been doing that. I've met, at least online, met quite a few other creators, new creators. We know there's a lot of new blood that's come into the game over the last year or two, and so quite a few of those are here in Texas. So I've been working out with a guy that's out of the Waco area, and potentially hooking up, doing some type of a collab with him and a few others. So I would like to do some crossover collaborations, true crossover collaboration style videos this year. I think that could be a lot of fun.
if he tries to get you to go to his compound, be skeptical about that. Just saying.
Yeah.
Bad joke, I know. 223 says he wants me to do a revolver video. So I had all the best intentions of the world in 2021 of getting a revolver. That quickly turned into getting into the long range game. And so all of my resources went towards getting the rifle and all of the bullshit that goes into all of that, which was a lot more than I thought it was going to be, but it's cool. This year, I plan on doing something. My goal would be something that's going to take me on. That's what I'm looking for right now. I was talking with Clover earlier today, and I said, I still want to buy guns, but there's really nothing out there right now that like sticks out in my mind, says, ooh, I got to have that, So at that point, do I start looking to get into something that is outside of my comfort zone? A revolver most definitely would be that way. But I've actually been lately looking into some 1911s and all of that stuff. So, I don't know which one's going to come first. I'll probably end up getting one of each this year, but at least one of each. But I don't know. Right now, I'd say the 1911 might come in before I'm. Man, I tell you what, excuse me, it's expensive, and I don't think I'm going to get this one quite yet. But man, that Springfield Ronin, that 10 millimeter 1911 is one of the most beautiful guns I've seen in a long, long time. But I'm looking at either like a Gerson or a Rock Island to kind of get me started into the 1911 game and then move up and all of that. But revolver, yeah, that's been one of those things I've been looking at for the last couple of years as well. So. Excuse me. There were a couple things out here. Josh asked, should I go Arkin? Very limited budget, so can get anything better. And I mentioned, Arkin, Athlon, Monstrum, Bushnell. There are a lot of great companies out there that are, Swamp Fox comes to mind, that are putting some really, really, really quality optics out there for half the price of what the big dogs are, if not more than that. They're going to give you a lot of the same features. And I think Midnight out there asked what he's going to put it on. And he said a 22 long rifle PRS rig. So a little precision 22. So Rogue, Trav, Clove. I know Clove probably has something. If you're talking about a little 22 LR PRS rig, something that's not going to break the bank, which is a pretty good optic, is there something out there that you would recommend?
Oh man, I mean, it depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at semi-auto or you're looking at Bolt or whatever.
I'd imagine being a PRS.
Bergara?
I would imagine a Bolt, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to speak for the guy.
Bergara's got some nice stuff. That's going to be, yeah, they got some nice stuff. Bergara's got some nice stuff. Christian's Arms, but that's certainly not budget, but they've got some pretty amazing stuff.
I think he's already got the rifle. I think he's looking for a good optic. He said it's a bolt action rifle. So he's looking
on Rimfire PRS.
22,
yeah, Rimfire PRS. I don't know. I mean, when you're getting into that, the extent of my Rimfire is more. It's really more speed related at any kind of distance. I mean, you were talking max 110 meters on a steel ram that's, oh good Lord, probably a foot across, so so I don't know. I mean, for that, I mean, I worked mill dots, when I worked that, so I don't even know how far out does PRS with Rimfire even go, because 300 yards is tough with 20.
Yeah, he said it's a Ruger Precision. It's modified a little bit. My Monstrum. I don't have a Monstrum scope. This is an Athlon, and I really love this. Man, I love this Athlon scope. But the Monstrum, I've got a couple different Monstrums, LPVOs, and they're great. If you're looking for PRS, I will recommend this just from personal experience right off the bat. Try to find something that has like a zero stop on the turrets, because that way it's a lot easier when you're having to dial up for elevation or windage, that you've got that zero stop, that okay, when I go back for the next stage, before I recalculate, that you're going to go back to that hard zero. So find something that has a zero stop. And most of the quality stuff now, it doesn't have to be expensive, but most quality stuff is going to have like a zero stop somewhere on that optic.
And another thing I would think, again, this is me spitballing here, right?
Sure,
I would think you would need a scope that's got pretty hellacious adjustments.
Especially for 22 LR.
Yeah. So definitely look at your range of adjustment that you've got. And I would think go with the, one of the scopes that's got the absolute most for that.
Yeah, I want to say that mine's on a 6.5, obviously. But my Athlon, I think from top to bottom elevation wise, top to bottom, I think it's like 8.5 or 9 mils. And so I'm going to have all the room in the world really to kind of do what I want to. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff that'll have like 4 or 5 mils. And especially, depending on how far you're going to go out, 4.5, 5 mils, you might be maxing that thing out and holding still, So yeah, try to find something that's going to have a nice range there for you to, especially in the elevation. Elevation, in my opinion, you guys, Rogue, Travis, Clove, you can talk about it, but in my experience, which is limited, but my experience, elevation is going to be much more important to make sure that you've got plenty of room than it is windage.
Well,
now with 22 LR, it might be different though. What's that, Trey?
Yeah, and he's talking 450 to 500 yards, man. That's insane.
Yeah,
I know a lot of that has to do with the mount too. Like my 308 has a 20 MOA mount on it.
Yeah,
the rail is a 20. So it automatically helps bring you out farther without having to adjust so much, and you don't run out of travel on your scope. So if you don't have something like that, that's probably something good to invest in too.
Yeah, and I've got a 20 MOA on mine with high rings.
Right.
But it will help a little bit as well. I would say this. I can speak for Bushnell, I can speak for Monstrum, and I can speak for Athlon. They're all quality stuff. I don't know much. I know about them, but I've never really shot much out of an Arkin, so I can't really give you my opinion on Arkin. What I can tell you for PRS is this Athlon is incredible. So this is a 6 to 24 by 50. That'll get you very easily to where you need to be. This will go out to I would say probably 1,300 yards pretty easily. So even with 22 LR, this thing will get you to where it's 6 to 24. I keep mine about 16 to 18 magnification as a standard, probably about 16. But yeah, I would say that you can find a really quality optic that will get you what you need to do for well under probably $500, $400 easily.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, I buy a lot of Vortex stuff and I had mainly because
you can find a lot of Vortex on sale a lot too, though.
Yeah. If you go into gun deals and just there's tons of them in there, but I also had a really awesome experience with their customer service when I broke a scope. It was my fault. You know, I broke a red dot and they were just it's the best, best company I've ever worked with as far as a product. So, that says a lot for them. It made me want to stick with them. But my Viper is a 6.5 by 24 by 44. And I know you can get those all day for like $300.
There you go. Yep. And for 22 LR, you might not need a 50 or 55 inch objective. A 44 inch, 44 minimum might be the perfect size objective. I don't have much experience shooting 22 LR, especially at 300 to 500 yards. But I would imagine you may not have to go with like a 50 or 55 millimeter objective. So,
bigger objective is more light, and then also ability to spot. Right. So,
I'm saying, but you may not have to. If you can get away with a 44 millimeter, you can get that from be a couple $100 cheaper than a 50 or 55 millimeter, Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Probably a 55, but a 50's got to where a 50 is pretty standard nowadays.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I found that just what you said, that a lot, it seems like the ones that are the 44 are the 44 objective lens tends to be on sale more. You can pick them up at a really good price. That's what I did. I think I paid $279 for mine a couple years ago. It was on some crazy sale and I snagged it quick. So it's tough to beat a $280 scope with that kind of magnification.
It is, especially this Vortex. So yeah. R4 Mississippi Thunder says, hey, thunder rolling in, and the thunder rolls. And yeah, Buck says you can go on Amazon and check out scopes, and someone have a payment plan. This is true. Sportsman's Guide, a lot of these are offering kind of payment plans now, but yeah, Amazon. And a matter of fact, you can check out the description for the Amazon link, or most of these guys have their own Amazon links, and it doesn't cost you anything. Just click on those links. And
you talk about Amazon, that Fiachi is pretty bad to the bone they got over there too.
I got a Fiachi from Budget over at Mike, and it broke on me after I put two range. He shot it. He shot it. It shot well for him. He actually sent it to me because he didn't want it. I put it on this. That's why I need a scope for this 223. I could not dial it in. It just something inside let loose, and it just stopped moving left and right.
Yeah, probably from adjustment maybe or something like that. That's when you get cheap scopes, the adjustments, breaking the gears and whatever wearing on you is a huge deal. If you put them on, usually set them and not have to adjust them, you're way, way better off. That's a mark of a good scope, is you can adjust the crap out of it and it lasts.
And more importantly, it'll hold zero also.
Yeah, but mine's been on the 30-06 since day one, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's got 100 rounds, 200 rounds through it, somewhere in that range. But I ain't had any issues.
Yep. No, I will say this about the Fiachi stuff, and I've had several of them sit to me, and I've put them through the ringer and all that. I have not had any of them that were just absolute trash. Now it's not like I'm keeping them on my rifles, going to use them in that, shit hits the fan scenario.
Yep.
But the testing that I've done, they've all done fine. So, and I don't want to people think that we're optics snobs, but if you can get a Fiachi for, let's say, $50, where you can go and spend an extra $100 or $200 more and get something that's infinity times better, like a Vortex or whatever, save your money up for a couple more months and go get that something better. Now, if you just have to have something right now, first of all, before you do that, call one of us. We might have something lying around, or we might
that's true.
be able to give you pointers to say, hey, this is, spend an extra a little bit more and get this. But yeah,
well, full disclosure, when I say my Fiachi is on a 30-06, it is a hunting rifle, so it's not,
sure.
And it just hasn't gotten beat around or anything like that. So
yeah, no.
If you if you download you can go online too, but they have an app for guns.deals app. If you just go in there, you could search whatever you want too, and a bunch of stuff. You just search Vortex, you search Leupold, you search Monstrum scopes or whatever, and it'll just pull whatever sales are all over the internet. You can find some good deals. You can also, what's kind of neat is you could find like free rings, or they might come with a scope cover or something like that. So it saves you $20-$25 on a set of rings, maybe, because it comes in the package.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you a website. I'll get the link real quick and put it out there for the long range stuff. And I would consider for 22 LR, long range is that 500 yards, a great resource is called Sniper's Hide, and I'm on there a lot. And people talk about, you can ask questions. There's probably all the questions you want to ask already been answered and all that, but they'll talk about different gear and equipment setups. More importantly, they do have a section on there that people are selling some of their stuff, and it might be only used for one season, which might be 10 or 20 matches. You can find really good deals on bipods, on bags or optics, whatever. Go check out Sniper's Hide, and there's really, you can find some really good stuff that you can get for that $300 range. It might have been $600 when they bought it new a year ago. So just now, the hell. Mario says, did y'all hear that James Yeager might have ALS? Well, ALS is Lou Gehrig's disease, I believe, and I have not heard that.
Yep, I heard that the other day.
I wonder if he's going to be in Vegas. I need to reach out to him. I don't know. I had not heard that. That's sad. I don't give a shit what people think about James Yeager. I never wish Lou Gehrig's disease on anybody. Yeah, I hadn't heard that. I had to reach out to him. Man, that sucks. Wow. Okay. Moving on. Man, that sucks. What were we talking about? Projects and all that. Okay, we kind of went through projects and all of that. Rogue, I'm going to start with you. Let's start with Travis this time. Travis, and we'll go to Rogue. Give Clover some time to research and think about it. From what you have heard or what you know has just come out, Trav, is there anything, the new guns, doesn't matter if it's handguns, rifles, shotguns, whatever, is there something that you've heard or seen lately that you either want to buy or at least get your hands on and shoot in 2022?
Yeah, I've been sort of in the partial market for a new carry gun for about a year or two. So I've really, as far as handguns go, I've really been looking at those, something compact, and maybe I don't have any striker fired pistols. So I could see me, that's what I was talking about, that the new Savage. Yeah. That new Savage pistol.
I was telling Clover about it earlier tonight. It looks like a kind of like a XD kind of a gun. I like the looks of it. And I know that you don't like the football stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, Savage will be at the outdoor show. I'm sure they were last year. So, that'd be a cool opportunity to check that out. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been focused on mainly, is that. And then I do I do want a 1911 eventually. So, but that's a little bit down the road. A new carry gun, I think, is what I've been kind of focused on lately. So this year at the outdoor show, all the big guys are there. Hopefully it'll give me a chance to pick up and play with some of the stuff, Smith & Wesson, the Savage, hopefully, even the Mossberg.
The Springfield Hellcat's a really good feeling gun. I don't know if you've ever held that or not.
The Smith & Wesson Plus, the Shield Plus. Yep. I know last year I did a video on the Mossberg striker fired when it first came out. And I really liked it. It felt great. I liked the trigger. I liked everything about it, but it was really low capacity. It was like a 7-round. They just updated that gun, and now it's like a 10 or 11 round. So I want to check that out again. I could definitely see myself ending up with something like that, eventually.
Yeah. A lot of good ones out there. A lot of great ones, especially if you're looking for that kind of that subcompact micro carry gun. There's a lot of great ones that have come out the last few years. So the 365, the 43, the 43X, the 48 from Glock. There's a lot of good ones out there. So I'm really interested in that. That Hellcat's pretty good. And say what you want to about Springfield, I don't really give a shit. I really like the feel of that Hellcat. So that's something that I need another carry gun like I need a stick in the eye. But if I was going to get a new carry gun, that's one of them. That or the FN 509 compact. I've been looking at that for a couple of years. That's a sexy gun to me. But those look good. Rogue, what about you? Any kind of guns that you've seen or you've heard they're be coming out that you really want to get your hands on?
There's nothing right now that I have a burning desire for. Those who have followed me on the channel know I'm kind of a SIG snob, but
everybody's perfect.
I've had some discussions with my wife, and SIG has kind of pissed me off with the SHOT Show thing, and I've been kind of on the fence with them for a little bit, and not that I'm looking to move, but I am exploring other options right now.
There you go.
And I'm out there looking around, and I've been looking at Canik, and I've been looking. The one thing I hate is I think Beretta with their newer guns. I think they're ugly as hell, but I'm starting to look at those. I'm just kind of trying to break out of my shell and see what's around, and see where I'm going to go.
Yeah. There was one that I wanted to bring up to you, Trav, but I just left my mind. I'm not very smart, so things come in and they just disappear. It'll pop up to me here in a minute when I'm least expecting it. But what was that I was thinking about? Oh, the CZ P10. I've got the subcompact. They got a compact, the subcompact. The P10 is a kind of a polymer frame gun that I enjoy mine. It's a really good shooting gun. That might be one you want to look at as well.
Yeah, I don't remember if CZ was there or not last year. They might have been. It's a little overwhelming. You guys are used to SHOT Show. I walked in there and I was like, oh shit, look at all this stuff.
It happens. We were that way when we first went to SHOT Show. Holy shit. We know some people that have kind of fetal position in the corner before. So it happens.
Yeah. And then it's, it's fun because you run into a couple people. I ran into Tony Simon there and a couple other people and stuff like that. So it's pretty neat. Yeah. Tony Simon ain't that big. He ain't that big. He says he's big. He ain't that big.
Compared to us midgets, he is. Yeah, he's a big boy. But it is what it is. Now, when you're talking about 1911s, do you have any in mind that you kind of thought about? Because like I said, I've been thinking about like a Gerson or a Rock Island. I've heard a lot of good things about the Rock Island 1911s for like kind of a budget starter 1911. I'm thinking about one of those two. What are you thinking about? Have you even thought about that far down the line?
Yeah, my cousin actually has a 1911 government and loves it. And I've shot that a little bit, and I'll most likely end up with something like that. Unless one of those Cosent arms falls off the back of a truck and gets all banged up, maybe I can get one for cheap. But he's that or something in the mid range, maybe a Ruger or something like that. I wouldn't. I mean, the Rugers are a great budget too. I mean, they're in the $500 or $600 range normally, which isn't bad. But the Rock Island's fun. I actually kind of like the idea of having something that's old school, government fixed sights, like just something fun like that, that you can put on some fun grips and call it a day.
Yeah, for sure. Go to Clover, and aside from finally getting himself a Glock 26, more importantly, a Glock 19 this year, which we know the Glock 19 is at the top of his list of guns he wants to get this year. Aside from those two,
what is a 19 is at the top? Is that what you just said?
The 26 and the 19, I know those were at the top
the
of
26 is definitely at the top, and
you're going to end up with a 19. You're going to get a 19 one day.
You know this about the 26.
The 19 is at the top of my list for you to get.
So
put it that way.
I think you know this about the 26, but I haven't said it to anybody else. But our good buddy Stan with SS Pawn actually called me back before Christmas because he pays attention. Stan's awesome, and we were talking about it in Tulsa.
Yep.
And he's like, "Oh man, found a deal, blah 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 blah." But I mean, we're going into shots. Like, it was a heck of a deal, man. And it's like,
you spend that same money
me.
on
It's like any other time of the year. If it had been 2 or 3 months earlier, or Tulsa in April, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I would have pulled the trigger, but I couldn't do it going into shot, or I would have had one.
I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch.
We spent an hour or two one night trying to find them all over the place, and you can find them, but they're still just a little bit high,
Yeah, I mean, I'm a special case, and of course, everybody knows that. But, I'm not paying retail. I'm not paying. Take a fair price, and I want $10 off. Right? That's how I buy. That's just how I buy, and that's why I've been comfortable with selling so many, as I talked about earlier. Is I got them all at really good deals. And so I don't got to worry about getting out from under them. And, I don't ever want a situation to where I pay money for a firearm and then I end up having to take a loss on it. That's just silly.
Yeah.
It's silly.
No, I hear you. Now, Buck's out there saying about a 5.7 pistol. I mean, Ruger and FN, awesome. I'd love a 5.7. But it's kind of more down on the list for me. It's not one of those things that I just got to have.
I will say this. I haven't shot the 5.7, but last year at the show, I went back and forth between those two booths 3 times. I went and looked
Ruger
at
and Ruger FN. Yeah.
With those pistols, because I wanted to try and compare them as best I could. And I liked everything about the Ruger better than the FN, except for the grip shape. The grip was a little square, but everything else about the Ruger I liked better.
That's pretty much where I fail. I mean, I absolutely do not like it does not feel good. It does not.
Yeah, it was weird. It was like holding a 2x2 almost.
It just doesn't. And if they would do something with a grip, I'd be all over it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, talking about new for 2022, right? Or what?
Yeah.
So Gerson's got 2. I don't remember the model, the MC 1911 Hunter, which is a long barrel 10 millimeter that we've been waiting on forever. Thank you, supply chain issues. And then the what is it? Is it the MC35 or the high power?
PC35. I think it's like the PC.
The P35. The P35.
P35.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Which is the high power clone.
Yeah. And
there's some issues getting those in right now. As a matter of fact, but both of those from Gerson, I've had really good luck out of everything I've had from Gerson. Couple of weird ones that I can think about. So the life card. Everybody knows about the life card, right?
Yep, they've got a new one coming out.
They've got a PCC supposedly.
They do. It looks pretty good. Not gonna lie.
Which is an interesting. That M&P 10 millimeter is one that's definitely interesting. And I would love to have one of the little single action revolvers in 380. I just think that is so freaking cool. But
You
I
would
don't
think
know.
that's cool. You would think that's
It
cool.
is. That's just neat. Well, you got to realize I've got a lot of 380 ammo, and I've got all of that. So I mean, and just having one of the reasons it's in 380 is because it is the pocket version of the old single action. So it's a smaller frame and everything. And so that's one of the reasons that they did it in 380. I'm sure to more modern ammo and something that's not not a 357 Magnum. I don't know if that frame would hold together under a 357 Magnum, but
Right.
yeah, that's a few, I guess.
So Buck's got the Gerson 1911. He's already picked it up, and he's going to be at the range shooting Sunday. I won't be there, but I'll get there Sunday. But
did he get the 9?
He got 45.
He got a 45. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said he'll find out about the Gerson until they said it. So I'm kind of wanting to see what he thinks, because like I said, it's either Gerson or Rock Island for me. Now, there's a few guns that I'm looking forward to, and I know that you are going to laugh, but assuming that they fixed the barrel issues that they had back in October, I really think that the cool looking gun that I want to shoot, at least maybe on range day, assuming that they fix the issues, is the new Smith & Wesson M&P 12, that shotgun. It's a badass little shotgun. It looks really cool to me. As far as, I don't know if I want to buy one, but Rogue was talking about SIG earlier, and we were talking about this before and all that. I'm not a big SIG guy. I think they're great firearms. They just don't feel good to me. But there is one that I would really like to have eventually. And that is the P226, the Legion. That is a really sexy gun. Like I said, that Springfield Ronin 10 millimeter 1911.
Oh, yeah.
That's a sexy looking gun.
Yeah,
that might be one of the best looking guns I've seen in a long time. Is that Ronin is badass, for sure. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to shooting the Savage stance. I'm really hoping Savage will be at range day, but they've always got in the middle of range days where the long range rifle stuff is, and they're always there. I wonder if they're going to have a small booth for the pistol, because I am looking forward to shooting the Savage stance. And I didn't know about it until Sunday night when I was on Midnight Ranges chat, and he was bringing up, I was like, oh, that's, I think it looks pretty good. Now, I don't know, but it looks good. It looks like an XD, and I've always thought an XD looks good. So I'm looking forward to doing that. Guns and Barbecue says he bought the Ruger 5.7 last April, and it's freaking amazing. So, yeah, the 5.7's good. I've shot the FN and the Ruger. Like I said, and they're both good. I have no problem with them. But having a 5.7, especially with ammo right now, is not something that is high on my list. Would I like to have one eventually? Sure. But it's not something I would like to have a revolver or a 1911 before I would get a 5.7. That's just me. I don't know. E just says, what about the Springfield SA35? Which one is that?
That's the high power copy.
Oh, okay. Springfield?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They copied Gerson.
Okay, so I didn't know Gerson and Springfield both had a high power coming out. So
I honestly don't know who released it first, but I heard about, and it may just be because of my relationship with the AA. But
it does look good.
I heard about the Gerson first, but that doesn't mean anything.
It does look good. It looks like a high power.
Yeah.
So if I had to choose between the Springfield and the Gerson, knowing what I know about Gerson's quality control and all that, I would probably go with Gerson. But either one would be fine. But those look good. Yeah, that Gerson looks good. But right now I'm looking at a Gerson 1911. The high power looks good, but I'd probably, once again, that's something that is on the list, but it's probably down 9-10 of things that I'd really like. I'd probably want to get a 5.7 before I got a high power clone. Just saying. Yeah. What are those? I'll go look. What is those Springfield? Those were those Ronins. Those are running about $2,000, aren't they?
I don't know.
I think they're expensive. Damn, they're sexy.
I start itching when you start talking 9mm, honestly. So
That's the 10 millimeter.
Or 1911. I mean, I start itching.
I
when you
know.
talk 1911. So even if it's at a 10 millimeter, I still itch.
I know, but that is such a sexy looking gun.
No, it is. Oh, you know what? I just thought of another one that's not new.
Okay.
But I lost one. I think it was at the end of 20. I think it was Black Friday or Small Business Saturday in 20, I believe. Is the CZ? What is the little CZ? Dang it! Somebody help me out. Dang it!
Not the P10 I was talking about earlier.
No, it's the little compact. Dang it! Can't even think of the name of it now. But anyway, I lost out on one of those, and I was like, that sucks. Somebody out there in the chat will call it out in a minute. They'll know what I'm talking about.
Let's see. I'm trying to find out how much this damn Ronin for sale. Gun broker. I don't have any in stock. Let's see here. The Ronin 9 millimeter is 900. So let's say about 1,000 maybe for the 10 millimeter. I'm assuming if the 9 millimeters go on anywhere from $799 to $899, I'd say between $800 and $900 for that Ronin 10 millimeter. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. Mario says PSA's up the road for me has a Blazer brass 9mm for $20 now. That is honestly probably about $8 higher, but honestly, that's probably going to be like the new norm for that. That $18 to $20 per box will probably be that new norm for that. So it's whatever it is. 223 says, if I was going to get a revolver, which one would you choose? The one that I almost bought a few years ago was a Smith & Wesson. Oh, what was that one I was going to get? The 357 black on black. Nothing bodyguard, but what was that? That revolver we were looking at, Clove, that I almost bought.
The Night Guard.
The Night Guard. Probably that one. Probably the Smith & Wesson Night Guard in 357 would probably be the one that I would get. I almost bought that a few years back.
I remember the CZ. It was the CZ Rami.
The Rami. Okay.
Yeah, those are sweet, man. I kicked myself. I should have pulled the trigger on it, and I didn't. And ended up buying something else instead because I went back to get it and it wasn't there. But yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at that Rami. Oh, that's not bad. That's not a bad price. What was that, about a 4-inch barrel? Maybe a little
something like that, yeah.
Maybe a little bit shorter than that. That's a good looking gun for a CZ.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rogue out there, you're on the show.
Sorry,
you don't have to put it in the chat.
I just had to throw it out there in the chat just to see what everybody's response would be.
Obnoxious says, I've heard a lot of good things about this as well. The Ruger GP 100.
Yeah,
that's kind of one of those where it's that and like the 686. Like you hear people talk revolvers and they say, what's a good starter? It's not a budget, but a good starter one. You hear the GP 100, you hear the 686, you hear 3 or 4 of these. There's a Taurus that supposedly is a pretty good revolver too. But yeah, that GP 100 I've heard, I mean, that's been around and I've never heard anyone talk bad about it. So
there was a Taurus I was looking at last year that I almost bought, and I think it's the 692, and you can shoot 38, 357, or with moon clips, you can shoot 9mm out of it too. It's pretty cool.
That'd be a good idea.
It's pretty neat. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, talking about Ruger, the Ruger Super GP 100 is a pretty cool looking revolver, but that is the best trigger that out of any of the guns that I messed with at the show last year. That thing, the trigger on that was amazing.
That's a pretty good looking revolver there. That's super. That's a good looking gun.
Ruger does a good job with revolvers pretty much across the board and have for a very long time.
Yeah,
when I was at FFL, Yeah, when I was
I
in
don't think they're.
FFL, I sold a lot of SP 101s and GP 100s for beginner revolver people.
Yeah.
They're just great guns.
I'm going to gravitate more to a Smith & Wesson, honestly. But unless you're talking single action, the Black Hawk or, even the Red Hawk for that matter. The Red Hawks are pretty solid. But in the Super Black Hawks and the Vaqueros, obviously don't have a lot of choice in Smith & Wesson with those.
Yeah. I was going to say, God, I'm just not very smart. I'm dumb. My mind just kind of. Andrew, what's up, Drew?
In the house.
Buddy Andrew Biscup over there on Facebook side. He is probably the Lone Ranger over there on the Facebook side, but welcome, brother. That GP 100 looks good. And I like the fact that it comes in black on black. And I know that sounds crazy. When it comes to revolvers, I still want it to look, it's weird. I get it. The black on black look to me is sexy for a revolver. And then I just was looking at the GP 100. They do have a black GP 100. So that might be on the list. I really did like that one night though. We were looking that night guard was really just, I really did like that. Drew's in Laredo, Texas. Why?
Right.
Just no one goes to Laredo unless you have to go to Laredo. But yeah, Obnoxious says, get the GP 100 if you want a good revolver. Get the 686 if you want a good revolver and want to pay $200 more. That's
true.
fair.
This is true.
That's fair.
And if you want the Smith & Wesson logo on the side of it, obviously.
That probably does play a point as to why it's $200 more, but 223 says black on black looks more tactical, and maybe that's it. I don't know, but to me, a black on black revolver looks really good. I don't know why, and it probably does because it more looks like a pistol and not a revolver. Because I'm not a big revolver guy, so I don't know. It'd be interesting, but I think I'd probably want to get a 1911 before I went ahead and got the revolver. Mm-hmm. That's just the way I think that's the way it's going to go this year is a 1911. Man, that Ronin. And more thinking about that Ronin, that might have to be mine this year. That's just a good looking gun.
And you're gonna go 10 millimeter instead of 9 millimeter. So you're gonna skip a millimeter in your 1911.
I'm gonna skip a millimeter. Well, because I'm still waiting for Gerson, and it's been going on for a year. As you know, that like you said, they've had issues.
That's true, but
he's sending me one of the smaller 9 millimeter 1911s, and so cool.
here's the thing. So
I know a lot of 9 millimeter ammo. Though.
I know I'm a bad influence because you hear me talk about 10 millimeter all the time, and I've been a 10 millimeter fan forever. But here's the question I got to ask you. That's just something you seriously need to think about on your 1911 quest here.
Mm-hmm.
I have countless thousands of rounds of 10 millimeter I can load.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to go out and find 10 millimeter somewhere or find the stuff to load, or you feel what I'm saying? So ammo wise, does it make sense to spend that much on a Ronin in 10 millimeter when you may or may not be able to find the ammo to enjoy it?
Well, here's the thing. So, hold on here. Can I private chat?
What a nice night.
Hey, Trav. I'm going to let Travis kind of give some plugs real quick. I know that he's got to head out here. Thanks for coming on, homie. Tell people they can find you, plug whatever you want to plug, anything you want to talk about real quick before you leave.
Yeah, not a whole lot. On Instagram and Instagram and the YouTubes we do a show Sunday night called The Closer. 9 Eastern, between 9 and 10 Eastern usually. It just depends. I'm trying to do it a little earlier now.
You have been going earlier lately.
I've been trying.
Still running until 2 o'clock in the morning, but you're starting an hour early.
Yeah, Sunday night was pretty brutal, man.
That's awesome. That was a great chat. That was a great one.
Supposed to be I was supposed to run from 10 to 12, and it actually went from 10 to 2. So 5:15 in the morning came real damn fast on Monday morning. I'll tell you what. But yeah, I actually, I'll tell you what, it was one of the most fun shows I've had in a long time. We had some good conversations, and if you want to talk about whatever, it's a good show. We'll talk about politics and guns. We talk about, restaurants and food. We talk about whatever. You never really know. It's kind of open to everything. And then, we play around on Instagram and have some fun and joke around a little bit and try and end the week with a little lighthearted fun. So come and check us out.
You got it. Thanks for coming on, buddy. And we'll talk to you soon. Hopefully someday.
Thanks, buddy. See you guys.
Yeah. All right, bud. Popo is after him, I think. I heard the sign in the back. That's why he's being arrested. That's why he had a bolt pretty quickly. He's either bolting from the Popo or he's already been arrested by the Popo.
I may need to borrow some cash.
He was out stealing some crab meat.
See, this was his one free phone call. He doesn't have to waste his phone call because now he's already told everybody, I need cash. So we'll tell Mia, hey, we'll PayPal or Cash App, whatever you need.
Hey, if the crab meat's in my pants, it's mine. They can't take it from me now. I gotta go.
Possession is 80%. And the crabs, hey, never mind. I'm not gonna go down there. Now going back to the 10 millimeter versus 9 millimeter, for me, 10 millimeter is not hard to find around here, actually, and it's relatively, I say, inexpensive. But here's the thing: so I've got a shit ton of 9 millimeter pistols. So if I'm going to go 1911, it's not something that I'm going to carry. It'd be more of a range toy to me. So why go with, just because I have a lot of 9 millimeter ammo, I get that, but 10 millimeter around here is not crazy. And I wouldn't shoot the thing a whole hell of a lot. It would be a range toy. So that's why I'm thinking 10 millimeter, because I've got all the 9 millimeters that I really want right now. So if I want to go into a new platform, go to a new platform with a new caliber that I don't have in the arsenal right now. And the 10 millimeter is intriguing, but that's the reason why I'm thinking 10 millimeter is I can't, and I don't have to go and have 1,000 rounds of it because I'm not going to go shoot competition. I'm not going to carry it. It's just going to be a fun range toy. Right. Just enjoy shooting. So I could go find a couple hundred rounds and be perfectly okay with that right now. That's kind of the reason why I go 10 millimeter.
Sure. Yeah.
But I do understand that the thought process is I've got a shit ton of 9 millimeter ammo, and if I was going to shoot the hell out of this thing at one time, then I would, it would be nice. But I would say, I want to get, if I'm going to go 1911, I'm not a big 45 guy. I don't hate 45. But if I'm going to go 1911, maybe the 10 millimeter, so I could kind of kill two birds with one stone, get a 10 millimeter and a 1911 in one beautiful package. Might be somewhere I go with that. So Snob says, and he's in Oklahoma, so he's real close to us. He says 10 millimeters is fairly easy to find around here. It's the same kind of thing around here. Finding 6.5 Creedmoor and 9 millimeter is tough. Finding pretty much anything else is relatively easy.
Yeah,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
50 cents around is. Go ahead.
I'm just saying 10 millimeter out here in Montana is hard to get because
running.
When
you guys got one, I'm sure.
Well, when you head out into the woods, everybody's carrying a Glock and 10 millimeter for in bear country.
Yeah, so, pigs around here, but I think it's the same scenario.
Yeah.
But at 50 cents a round, that's pre-cough prices. Pretty close.
That's about, because the last time I was in my gun shop, they had 10 millimeter, and I want to say, it was about, I don't know, 55, 60 cents around. I mean, it was around that. It wasn't nearly down to 50, but it was something that I didn't feel was terribly unreasonable. And they had a bunch of it. So once again, if I just want to go get a couple boxes of it just to have fun at the range, I can do that. But that's the reason why if I got that, I wouldn't go 9 because I've got so much other things in 9, and I wouldn't carry this gun. So it would be
then that gives you a reason to get a 10 millimeter carbine, though. See, so I'm just thinking ahead. I'm thinking ahead for you.
Yeah,
true that.
Yeah, that opens up a whole new realm of guns for you.
Exactly. No, I've every time I've shot 10 millimeter, I absolutely love it. And I'd say what's a good gun for what it is. Have you ever had shot High Point's 10 millimeter carbine? It's pretty damn good.
Oh yeah,
that's a pretty damn good one. But yeah, 10 millimeter carbine would be good. But every time I've shot 10 millimeter and everything, I've enjoyed shooting it. So that's what I'm saying. I enjoy shooting 10 millimeter more than 45. So that's probably why I would go that route of the 1911.
right.
Mario says, just get the freaking 10 millimeter. That's what I'm saying is if I get that Ronin, it's going to be in the 10 millimeter. That's for sure. That decision is already made. He says it was a couple years ago, 10 millimeter was $15-$16 a box. Makes me want to cry it and stock up on it when I should have. Well, I mean, you could get 9 millimeter for $8 a box a year and a half ago. So,
right.
Go figure, $10 at the most, for range ammo. But yeah, anything, we haven't even talked about this. I'm going to talk about it briefly because 2022, one of the things I wanted to talk about was the impending elections in November, which could be a huge thing because I do think that I think it's probably going to happen in the Senate to be flipped. But I honestly think that for the first time in a while, having the gap that there is in the House, it'd be so nice to have Pelosi out of there as speaker. I truly think that there is a chance that the House flips this year. But so let's talk about real quick. We're going to bring you in real quick. You said you want to kind of get more involved with two-way stuff, and not necessarily this is two-way, but the politics of it could be two-way related. What are you kind of forecasting for the midterm elections?
Well, I'm thinking the House is a very good chance to flip. I mean, if you see, 22 Democrats have decided not to run for re-election in the House. So they're.
Well, I don't know if they decided not to. I know that there was 22 that either decided not to run or to switch parties, whether it's independent or Republican. There was 20 something. I know there's some of them that decided to switch parties, and I think that's a telling thing of what they think about Biden and all of them.
Yeah, so there's going to be, I think there's going to be kind of a reckoning. That the sad thing is that even if it flips, I don't think much is going to happen.
Yeah, gridlocked for 2 years.
It's just going to be gridlocked, and not much is going to happen. But that's
okay. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's okay with who's in the White House right now, because I think what happens is the midterms, if the Senate and the House flip, that's giving you an indication right now of where the election might be in 2024, possibly. So, and
that's where I'm kind of leading to, is that one of the things that drives me nuts about Republicans is that even if it flips and they keep it and get the White House, typically Republicans just start fighting amongst themselves and nothing happens.
Yep.
And that's, love them or hate them. I mean, Democrats up until this year, they're really good at getting their party in line and going into a direction. Republicans are just like herding butterflies. They're all over the place. If they ever got together on an issue, it'd be a miracle. But no, it's gridlock for another 2 years. I'm fine with that. Actually, gridlock for just about ever, I'm good with. I'm not a very big fan of politicians, and if they can gridlock and nothing happens, that means it's one less thing that I have to worry about.
I'm looking over here real quick and looking at some 10 millimeter ammo. Sorry. Looking
You're gonna
at
be buying that thing tonight, aren't you?
If SHOT Show wasn't a week away, possibly. Just saying. There's some Underwood for $21.49.
It's a small box though, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, it's a 20 round box. Okay, never mind. Let's see here. The cheapest I'm finding for Oh, let's see here. We got Sig's V Crown for 31. That's for a 20 round box. Never mind.
Yeah, it's not gonna. You're gonna find it cheaper in person than you are online. I think for sure.
MagTech's got
Online's
one
all
for
going to be self-defense.
$31.99, but it's out of stock. So yeah. Clove, I know that you probably have some opinions on the midterm elections and what that could mean. Anything that you want to add to that?
I don't think it's going to be. I think there's the potential for it not to be quite as gridlocked as we might think, because I think that's why you really haven't seen much happen right now. Is I think that we all know that the White House has some influence and direction into things, right? And I see Biden as more centrist than what he's obviously the far right
liberal.
Obviously the far right, he's the devil and they're going to demonize. I mean, obviously, but if you just stop and you look at a lot of the stuff he's pushed and he's signed onto and other things, you know, and he's got a long track record because the dude's been there forever. So, you know, I think there are certain things. I mean, you know, it's highly unlikely the House shifts to Republican control. Highly unlikely they're going to start pushing gun control bills and stuff. It's absolutely possible. And that's why I don't like either freaking party, politicians in general. But it's unlikely, right? It's unlikely they're going to be, you know, putting forth stuff that's damaging, right? So potentially can the Republicans get some things done that maybe can help curb inflation, that can, you know, some of these other, you know, mandates, and maybe force his hand on some backtracking in that aspect and other things.
Or at least force him to have to veto some stuff.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I don't think he will. I don't think he would veto things.
Well, I don't think they would have. I don't think if they passed it, they wouldn't have enough votes to override. They would have the vote. Sorry, they probably would have the votes to override a veto. So, veto is a pretty tricky game, you know. And with an approval rating of under 40%, once again, and people that don't keep up with politics, and this is not a big thing, but it is a big thing. When the White House is weak, you can't really push an agenda, because no one's going to ride the coattails of a very weak and unpopular president. And with an approval rating of under 40%, what that's telling these other politicians is America's not really liking the direction that we're going. So if I want to get reelected in November, maybe we stay away from some of this stuff. So that's how politics runs sometimes.
So if you look at, and I was watching some stuff on this the other day. If you look at the loudmouths of the Democrat Party that get all the airtime and get everybody flustered, like all the people that's in the chat right now that's gotten flustered over what I said, that's fine. You're talking about 6 representatives. You're talking about 6 of the House of Representatives that make up that uber crazy whatever her name is, Anastasia Ocasio-Cortez, Maltese, whatever chick, right? AOC.
Right.
So there's literally like 6 of them that's in that group. 6 politicians, 6. Yeah. And my point is, Biden is not going with the crazy whims of 6. And even if he was going to go,
Kamala might, but he won't.
Yeah. And that's assuming that they could even get anything done. That's how come their crazy stuff can't get done anyway. They're arguing with the Democrats. So right there tells you that, you know, and everybody wants to get all crazy at what AOC said, you know, or blah, 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 blah. And it's like, she's irrelevant when it comes to politics in Washington.
Even within her own party, she is irrelevant. Yes.
She's absolutely the loudmouth they send out there to whip up people. Is exactly what she is. And if you let what the idiot says whip you up, you're playing right into their hands.
Absolutely. Yeah. Got a text from our good friend Rod, and it's screen capture. And this is, I haven't heard of some of these, and Clover Rogue, let's see if you've heard about any of these. It's from the collective that we dare not speak their names. So take that for what it is.
It's funny. I was just reading that too.
It says a lot of brands are on the fence this year about SHOT Show, and either said they're not going to go or they're rumored to not go. SIG, Beretta, Ruger, Vortex, Tandem Cross, Nighthawk, CMC Triggers, Kimber, Weatherby, Burns, all either confirmed or rumored to be not going to SHOT.
So I can validate Vortex. I can validate Tandem Cross, and I can validate SIG. Ruger is highly, highly unlikely because they have publicly made a statement that they're going, and Beretta is highly unlikely.
Beretta's made
not to go. Talking about not to go, because Beretta has also made a statement. And I believe Kimber maybe has made a statement, but how many's on that list that you just read? That's what gets my goat, is that people are hollering about
7, 8, 9, 10, 11 are on this list.
How many companies are at SHOT Show every year?
Thousands.
There you go. So if you're making the decision on whether or not you go, and I'm speaking from a media standpoint here, in my own personal opinion, if you're making a decision on whether or not you're going to SHOT Show with thousands of companies, not only that, but think of all the other contexts, whether the contacts, I guess is what I was saying, right? Networking opportunities beyond even companies. If you're basing that on 8, 9, 10, 100 companies, right. I mean, now if you're in, and I've had this conversation with people that are dealers, right? And so I get it. If there's quite a few of the big dogs that are not going, and I'm a dealer, and that's, I'm an authorized representative for them or whatever the case may, I can get it. That may be like, maybe I don't spend the money and go out there, right? So again, my opinion, and strictly from a media standpoint, 8 companies, 9 companies, 10 companies, a dozen companies, doesn't make me any difference. If it's happening, I'm going.
The only one on this list that might even think about missing would be Beretta. I'm a Beretta fan. But Beretta hasn't really come out. They come out with the M9 A4 or whatever. But you like Tandem Cross. I get it. Now I would like to see.
I've already texted back and forth with the owner, and I'm like, man, it really sucks. I enjoy spending time at your booth. You've hung out at their booth with me before.
Absolutely.
Like, I really enjoy spending time with you guys. It really sucks. I let them know point blank that it sucked. With me and Beretta, my biggest relationship with Beretta is not even with the firearms side. So just because they say Beretta, which are they talking about? Are you talking about Beretta, or are you talking about Beretta USA? Because
it just says Beretta, Benelli,
and Benelli is a part of Beretta. So
that's what I'm saying. That's what it says. I don't know. I don't know which one it is. Yeah. We talked this the other night when we heard about Vortex. The interesting thing about Vortex is we'll just use Vortex as an example, is what you were talking about earlier. Yeah. Vortex not being there doesn't mean anything to me, because I wasn't probably going to go to Vortex's booth. But what that does do is there's about 10 or 15 other very viable optics companies that run similar products at about the similar price range. We're talking the Athlons, the Monstrums, the Swamp Fox, the Bushnells. We're talking that are very comparable optics. Well, here's the thing. I get Vortex decide they don't want to go. That's going to be good for some of these other people that are looking for that mid-range optic. They're going to start finding other brands out there because their daddy Vortex isn't there. That might come back and hurt Vortex eventually. I don't know. That's their choice.
I think it's a having your cake and eating it too situation, to be quite honest with you. I don't think anybody necessarily gets hurt, talking about companies. I don't think they necessarily get hurt by backing out or not going to SHOT Show.
No, they don't.
On the other hand, I think that them not going does benefit other companies.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So short term, does it hurt them? I don't think it hurts them a bit. Long term, like what deals get struck at SHOT Show that play out over the course of the year, blah, 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 blah. I mean, who knows? And
if there are dealers out there to say, I want to bring in these different optics at that $400 to $700 range, and Vortex is what I was going to go with, but now they found out, oh, there's Bushnells out there, there's Monstrum, there's Swamp Fox, there's Athlon, there's Ride-On, there's all these other. Wow, okay, so maybe I strike a deal with one of these guys because I can actually see their new stuff.
And make no mistake, any company that backs out, make no mistake here. Any company,
that's their choice.
Any company that backs out, it's a money play. It's a monetary thing. I don't give a crap what their press release says. I don't give. They can talk about health and safety and all of whatever. It's about money. The big companies that pull out spend big money, and they think by not going to SHOT Show that they can save that money and continue to operate the same as they always have because they went a year without SHOT Show already, right? And they didn't have to spend that money. So I think it's a little bit of greed motivation in there, and I hope that it doesn't come out because I don't want to see any company fail. I hope it doesn't come back to bite them in the end. I really do.
I agree. So yeah, this interesting, but we're all three of us are heading to SHOT in about a week and a half. We'll get there.
Yeah, I finalized the house tomorrow. No,
there you go.
No, Thursday.
Next 6th. Thursday. Okay. So we're all staying. All three of us are staying together. Matter of fact, Clove, we are going to stick after this chat a little bit and talk about that. So Rogue has time. I don't know now. We've gone 2 hours with this, so you may not have time. But
no, I'm good.
No, but yeah. So looking forward to that. There'll be some stuff coming out on Instagram and on Patreon, and for my channel members out there. When I just want to go ahead and we're going next week's going to be about SHOT, kind of preparations for SHOT. We'll talk about this then, but I want to go ahead and spread this out. If you're looking for video content of SHOT from our channel, I'm not going to speak for Rogue or for Clover. I'll let them speak on their own. From our channel, it's probably not going to be a whole, maybe some shorts here and there from like range day or something like that. But there's going to be very little video throughout SHOT week. I don't have time. I'm not taking a laptop with me. I'm not going to do all of that. Most of my stuff will be on the picture side. So be watching our Instagram page. That's where we're going to be posting most of our content during SHOT throughout the day. Will be over on Instagram. So that's where we'll be having a lot of it. But we're going to start kind of sweeping the floor. So I'm going to start with Rogue and say, Rogue, if you want to bring up SHOT of what your plans are for your content putting out there during the week you can, but tell people where they can find you, any plans and all that stuff that you got going on.
Yeah, for SHOT, I'm getting I'm filming content now that'll air while we're at SHOT. I'm not gonna. My SHOT show is going to be Instagram, and that's about it. Maybe the community tab on my channel, but that's it. I have a game plan for SHOT, and I need to execute that game plan, and I need to get some work done. Yep. So there's not going to be much for SHOT until afterwards, and even then, it might not be a whole lot on top of that. But for me, you can reach me on YouTube, the Rogue Banshee, or Instagram, also the Rogue Banshee. And, I do new videos every Friday, podcast first and third Monday of the month. So go check those out as well. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. To see you in about 10 days, my man.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be nice to actually meet you guys in person.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Rogue's a good friend of ours, but he's one of the people we talk about. Like Midnight Range is a good friend of ours.
I fear he's a robot.
Met him in person, so we want to verify that he is not AI.
Yeah, he's not a robot.
Yeah.
But just in case you are, I will bring extra batteries, Rogue. So it's all good.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll bring some oil in case some things start, in that sand, the desert sand start getting jacked up. I'll have some WD-40 as well.
I just bought 2 new Anchor battery packs, so I should be able to recharge storing. So that
I
way,
thought he was going to say anchor head there for a minute, which is a Star Wars reference. You had an opportunity, Rogue. You missed it.
Yeah, I did. Totally missed it. But no. So that way, I can recharge while I'm at shot. I just might disappear into the media room and plug in for a little bit.
You'll definitely probably need to. That's for sure.
There's plugs all over the place, not just in the media room, but yeah.
Clove, what you got going on? Anything special?
Hey, gonna pimp the first shots video of the little sidekick revolver from of all people Diamondback. So go check that one out. Did the unboxing. People were curious about the thing, so got some first shots off with it. I'll say it's fun. That's the only spoiler alert I will give on that one. So go check that out for sure. Like Rogue said, I've done really good. I know that I've got a what is it? A premiere release, whatever, that's happening during SHOT Show on a product that I haven't been able to talk about. It's killing me that I haven't been able to talk about. And so that'll release. Of course, I got to get that content done so I can release it during SHOT Show week. But I'm trying to stack my catalog up and get things done now, except for that video that I can't give out early to anybody. Patrons and channel members, of course, as soon as I get stuff uploaded, you guys will have it. So potentially there'll be 4, 5, 6 videos up before the end of the week, early access videos. So 2 days, 2 videos so far. My goal is to do that until the weekend. We'll see how long that lasts, but hopefully we get that done. And like I said, can't wait to get on the road and get to SHOT Show. And you know, I've you and I've talked about this, Ghost, about the whole culture of you go to SHOT Show and you take selfies with people.
I don't do
and
that.
I found myself thinking today that I want to. Now, don't get me wrong. I could care less about taking a selfie with Hickok.
Like my buddies, right? Like, you know, all of us that are
but
buddies.
Like,
yeah,
I'm thinking about Rob, Chris Chang, you, Rogue, Sarge, Jeff, TJ, and I'm
Mark,
thinking, Mark, and I'm thinking
Tony. If I don't know if Big Tony's going or not, but Tony, and
I'm thinking, and the people in the booth, man, Cody and Vince, and just. Frank, if Frank's
we gotta find Frank, man. I've got to hope Frank's there.
It's like and it's sad that a few companies that we know won't be going. But I got to thinking about it today because we always talk about that, how silly it is. People go and they like they're glomming on to somebody else. And let's be honest, any creator that takes a picture with Hickok or Demo or whatever, that's exactly their reasoning for doing that. But yeah, you're right. Our friends, I'm looking forward. It's been 2 years. I'm looking forward to seeing some of our friends, fellow creators, colleagues, and there probably will be some Instagram selfies in there, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, we'll do the selfies, but that, like I said, those will be with our buddies.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy. I don't. It's never done. I think Crump was like last week and say, "Hey, we need to get together." I'm not in. Look, bro, I'll hang out with you if you want to get a picture. Cool, whatever. That's just. I want to hang out. We'll hang out and we can talk and we can do all that. I don't go there for the hangout session.
I'm not gonna deny.
That's one other thing. That's another thing is we go to a party. That's a great time to just hang out.
So my litmus on it is I'm not going to deny somebody a picture that wants to take a picture with me, whether it's another creator or whether it's some gun shop owner there that watches the channel, right? Like, let's say it was a Stan or something, right? I'm not going to deny that. That's cool, right? I mean, I appreciate, any type of recognition that I've got. That's cool. But, I want to take pictures. At the end of the day, I want to take pictures with people that want to take pictures with me, like you're saying, my friends, right? To me, that's what it's about.
Yeah, I'm not going to SHOT to hang out. We'll hang out at night. We'll hang out, whatever. But during the day, you know how it is. The only time I really stop is if I go outside to smoke. I mean, that's really the only time I stop to stop.
Now the caveat to that.
That's how I want it. That's how I want it to be.
So the caveat to that is if I run into a wrestler or maybe a movie star or something. I mean, there is
I ran into Goldberg a couple years ago, and that is a massive dude, and he is cool, real soft-spoken guy. I mean, like he was like, "How you doing, bro?" I was like, "Whoa!" Like I expected. He was like real soft-spoken, really cool, honest guy.
Oh, he really is.
Cool
Yeah.
guy.
Yep. I would love a pick with Bob. I didn't run into him that year. Now I have.
I ran into him over at
I
the.
met him at a wrestling match one time years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. At a backstage thing there. Yeah.
Yeah, I ran into him there in the law enforcement area, and like literally was texting somebody or whatever and wasn't looking and almost ran into him. And I'm not saying I almost knocked him over because I would have hit and fallen over. Let's just be real about it. But almost ran, like, oh, Sal, I'm sorry, man. That's the same thing that happened to me with Trump Jr. a few years ago. Was down the dungeon. And I was trying to maneuver my way. It was the day we ate lunch down the dungeon, had like Chinese food or something. Remember that day with me, you, and Pink?
They've got all kinds of stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, but that day that me, you, and Pink and some of them decided to eat down there, which was a mistake just because it's a madhouse. But I was trying to get in there, and I came around the corner and almost ran into one of the Secret Service guys. And I was like, yo, and I was like, oh, snap, that's Trump Jr., and
right.
And he was like, hey, he was really cool. How he interacted with everybody was like he was there to see all the cool stuff. He wasn't there being Trump Jr. He was there like looking at shit. Was awesome.
Yep.
Sarge says he was on the phone for 45 minutes, but I missed absolutely nothing. It was a shit show from start to finish, so you didn't miss anything, my man. Looking forward to see Sarge here in about 10 days as well, and all those guys. So yeah, looking forward to SHOT for a lot of reasons. One, I just need it. It's been 2 years. I haven't been to an industry thing since 2020 SHOT. I need to get back into it. I'm looking forward to see our buddies, both creators and in the industry. Most importantly, I'm just looking to get back and seeing some gun stuff and talking with the companies and all of that. Sarge says Trump Jr. is going to be president one day. I think so. I think Trump Jr. has the chops for it. I would say who probably has the brain. I'm not saying that Trump Jr. is not smart by any means. They're all smart. I think Ivanka has the best chance to, but I don't think she wants it.
Whoa, what about like a Trump ticket? Wouldn't that be crazy?
Ooh, that could be interesting. That could be interesting. Oh,
I don't know how that would work, but yeah.
That could be interesting. But yeah, I could see Trump Jr. running. I think that he's got the personality for it. Ivanka,
sadly, I don't think Ivanka aligns well enough with the Republican Party.
She doesn't. But I think that she would be. I think she's the smartest of all the kids. I think she's the most savvy.
Oh yeah.
I think that she's definitely that person that could work in that realm. I don't think she has any desire to be in that realm. Me personally.
Yeah, Sarge is talking about a dinner. Yeah, we're already working on that.
Sarge, I think I emailed you the link to this. After we go off air, we are going to talk SHOT for a few minutes. If you and anybody else wants to jump in, the normal suspects have links in your email probably. So jump on in. We're going to talk a little bit, and we've got something planned while we're there. So hop on in if you want to. But yeah, it's been 2 hours and 12 minutes. We are going to get out of here because we've got some stuff that we've got to cover in on the backside of this for next week and all of that. So guys, thank you so much. We will see you next Tuesday at 7 Central. Be on the lookout every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday mornings at 10 o'clock on our YouTube community tab, our Ghost Tactical Polls, and we'll have fun with those. But guys, stay safe out there. We'll see you soon. Semper Fi.